I was obsessed with Sam Hunt, the country singer. And this was, 2015, early 2015. And he was playing in Toronto. So I was like, I asked my PR person, I was like, do you think we can make him a jersey and like bring it? I don't know. And she like go give it to him and like hold it up, whatever. Just being like such a fangirl. And she goes, oh yeah, I'll do that. And I just got you guys backstage passes to meet him before the concert. I was like,
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Call Up. Jillian Sakovitz alongside my co-host and my friend Susanna Collins. And it is a big day today. Our guest is the Columbus Crew, the reigning MLS Cup champions, TV analyst, Jordan Angeli.
Yes, girl!
AT&T 5G called to the field. This is going to be fun. And because we have Jordan and has such a big personality, is so much fun when we hang out. We love to go back and forth and have a bit of fun, maybe a drink or two. We're having her in for this today. So thanks for joining us.
Oh gosh, you guys, when I got asked, we've been trying to plan this, but we've been trying to plan it in person, which everyone knows it's been a little complicated.
That's never happened.
So slightly hard.
Hey Jill, it's gonna happen. I know it's gonna happen. But I'm excited I get to do here for this. And for those of you who can't see, I was putting my crown on because do I get a crown?
Obviously.
Yeah, you do.
Okay,
obviously.
Perfect.
Yeah, we're going to get to that because I believe a crown is very well deserved in your honor, Jordan. So I don't know if you're familiar with Here for This, but this is basically where Jill and I kind of take these like sort of off the field topics and say whether or not we're here for it. And usually they're pretty silly, but I'm so excited because we've got some good ones today. And I'm very stoked to get your opinions on these because we had fun compiling them. So, y'all, GQ strikes again. I don't know what is with GQ and photo shoots of U.S. soccer players, but they just they're always good for some incredible banter and fodder. So the latest, I don't want to say victim, but the latest subject was Christian Pulisic gracing the pages of GQ magazine. And this is a side of Christian Pulisic that we have not seen, you guys. I mean, he shirtless, tattooed, crazy haircut. I tweeted out, I said, I think he looks like the love child of Adam Levine and Drake, if that gives you any sort of visual. Yeah. I don't think I'm wrong.
That's good for the listeners. Paints a good visual.
But as we recall, we remember the Landon Donovan shoot, the water fountain, the very iconic one. We had DeMarcus Beasley in some like crazy weird pose. So this is not the first time that we've seen.
Can I point on the note of DeMarcus Beasley, Suze? Oh, he is a bit of a man of mystery.
Yes,
doesn't love the media, not super active on social media. Now that he's working for CBS, I see him, plug in Twitter a little bit more.
Yeah.
But this Christian Pulisic shoot even got DeMarcus Beasley making jokes on Twitter.
Well, so people had a reaction.
It's serious. And I also am starting to think that GQ is trying to take down Major League.
Okay, so are you saying, so the question is, ladies, are we here Are we here for the GQ photo shoots featuring U.S. soccer stars? Because it's always kind of polarizing and controversial. Jordan, what do you think?
I'm gonna go here for this. I think it's hilarious. Honestly.
Is it good for the game?
Maybe I'm here for this for entertainment and not for the game.
For selfish purposes.
So can I split those up? Because I think those are two different things. I'm here for it because, we can't ever forget Landon and that water fountain. You never look at a water fountain the same.
It's so true. It's so true.
I want to say I'm here for this, but I'm not. Plain and simple.
Plain. That's it. That's all we're getting.
I'm on the fence like Jordan is. I think ultimately,
get off the fence.
Yeah, no, I think ultimately I'm here for it because
you are.
Well, here's the thing. As ridiculous as some of these poses are, and I think that anytime you're drawing attention to the beautiful game here in America, and GQ is a very high profile publication, I think ultimately that's a good thing because even if people are kind of poking fun at it, at least they're talking about it and it becomes a part of their ether. So
did you take communications in college? That sounds like you did.
I did actually. My degree. So yeah, I'm gonna say here for it. Next one up. This is This is kind of in the same sort
I'll
of
give you a
line.
hint.
Yeah, this is a little. Or
Ooh.
also,
Ooh.
I'm wearing
Okay.
one today. So,
Like I know where we're going.
turtlenecks, ladies, all the rage apparently. And at this year's MLS Super Draft, we saw some pretty. I'm going to say tight looks. The turtleneck with the jacket. Our own Charlie Davies was rocking one.
A Taylor Twellman staple.
Yep. But my favorite look of the day came courtesy of one of the draftees, Brett Halsey. Okay, this guy. Do you guys remember seeing a picture of The Rock from like the late '90s with like the turtleneck and then the black pants, and he had the chain and the
Dude.
fanny pack? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Literally, this kid, Brett Halsey, had on that outfit. Like he looked like The Rock. Devin Kerr had asked him, and he was like,
Didn't
"I
you
don't
say
even
who's
know.
the Rock?
I don't know what you're." Yeah, he had no clue because he's so young. But the fact that like he recreated this iconic look just without even knowing what this was begs the question, ladies: are we here for men rocking the turtlenecks?
I don't like them.
Me neither. No, I'm not here for it.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Ooh.
I like it, because Anchorman is probably one of my favorite movies, and so
But it's a
the
joke.
little I know, but it's
This
just like
hitting.
it's just kind of funny. Like
It's a
I
comedy.
it's Ron Burgundy,
But like
and
we're
I'm sort
making
of,
fun of them.
but it makes me smile.
I'm not against it. I don't watch it and I'm like, oh, why is he wearing that? But
Yeah.
would I dress a man in
There's
it?
also
No.
a series of turtleneck lengths, and I
That's
feel like
true.
the higher it gets, the more I'm not here for it.
Oh, that's a really good point, Jordan. Very, very good
I
point. So like
really don't
the
love when
mock
they're
turtleneck.
really tight and they look like a bodysuit. Last but not least, I have a question for you, Jordan. Angeli. Do you have a blue check mark on Twitter?
No, not on Twitter.
Well, you and Bradley Wright Phillips have something in common. He woke up on January 22nd to learn, quote, "You have lost your verified status. As previously mentioned in emails and other notifications, we've updated our verification policies." Oh, you know what? BWP didn't answer his emails from Twitter.
Oh,
That's what did it. But anyway, he tweeted, "But how will I survive?"
Oh, don't you
I
feel
thought that
bad
was
for
very
him?
spooky.
But when you say that he didn't answer his emails from Twitter, do you feel like he's one of those people that has the email app that says like 5,272 emails?
that's me. Yeah.
That's me right now.
Both of you? Oh my gosh, I can't do that. Oh my gosh.
I basically scan them every day and I see if it's anyone who, one, wants to give me a job or two, is very important. And usually it's not. So then I just ignore them. And that's how I have 5,000 something.
And then can I add something here, which is really funny? I just thought of. So on the same weekend that this happens to Bradley Wright Phillips, our friend Brian Dunseth, who has been, a professional player, he's been a broadcaster for years. He finally got verified.
They gave Bradley's.
They took Bradley's and they gave it to Dunny's. So
unacceptable.
I know. It was just really funny. But I am so here for Bradley Wright Phillips, just like really giving zero whats about.
Like I said, he's got something to play for now.
Yeah. I mean, he's a member of the crew. So
I know.
Gain up those chips. Just keep putting them on your shoulder, buddy, because those are going to equate to goals. And I'm here for it.
Okay, Jordan, it's time to chat with you now because you're the whole reason we're doing this episode. We're so excited to have you on. You are such a bright light in this industry and a great friend of ours. So this is long overdue, and I wish we could do this in person. Alas, here we are. But just off the bat, how is 2021 treating you so far? We've got a new year, new season upon us. How are you feeling in this moment?
I'm doing well. I took a little time back at home in Colorado, so that's been really nice for me. After a year that was, challenging in many ways for a lot of people, but also like a huge blessing for me to get this new opportunity in MLS with the Columbus Crew. I also moved across the country, and I was alone for a lot of this time in 2020, and so I needed to re-energize myself, and I get that through my family. And so I've been at home in Colorado hanging out with my parents and my brother why he was here. And then my sister lives down the road with 2 little munchkins, and that's really fun. They're so
Aw,
cute and little.
that's
So,
amazing. Family time is everything.
yes. So I've been good, just kind of soaking it all up, but anticipating what's next. I think we all are ready to get going, which feels weird. We just stopped, but I'm kind of already ready.
That's what happens, man. When you get your first year gig, you sign up with the Columbus Crew, and then they go on to win MLS Cup. Coincidence? I think not.
Nope.
Haslam family, if you're listening. It reminds me a lot of the first year I started working for Atlanta United. It was 2018, and we all knew that maybe they had the chance. But when you're a part of that ride, there's no looking back. But let's actually look back.
Okay.
You got your start in broadcasting with the Colorado Rapids, as you mentioned, where you're from, hometown kid. How hard was it to make the decision to leave Colorado to go to Columbus, and what kind of drove that life change? That is major.
Yeah. A lot went into it. And so I think I'm entering my 9th year of broadcasting. I had a lot of injuries when I was a player. And one of the things that really taught me was playing soccer wasn't going to last forever. And I started to tap into what I was going to do next. And that was going to be broadcasting. I kind of found that I liked doing it by calling a high school soccer game, which was, you guys can imagine how a high school soccer game.
Oh boy.
Yeah. But I loved it. And so I started doing it in the off seasons when I was playing. And so I felt this total progress year after year of kind of having a goal and then reaching it, not maybe in the short term, but more of the long term. Mm-hmm. And so a couple years ago, I had started working with the Rapids, and it was the year after I had retired playing professionally. And I kind of knew that, honestly, my position in the men's game, I felt like I could be an analyst on TV. And so I kind of set my goals for that. And the Colorado Rapids gave me so many opportunities to host fun shows that they had. We had a tailgate live show that they let me host. I called games on the radio. And then when there was an opportunity to call games on TV, I would pop up there. And a couple of years ago, I had just felt this call that I was going to leave Colorado and that there was going to be an opportunity. So I was like, okay, well, maybe a move is something that I'll have to do. And I moved so much playing that I knew I could do it. I wasn't really super excited about it because I said you guys said it, it's my hometown. This is where I love to be, and my family and my friends are all here. So when those opportunities started to come last offseason, I was like, all right, this is a reality. And what Columbus offered and the people that were there, it was really the people in the organization and how I felt so welcomed the first time I stepped in there. It was really hard, and I cried a lot of tears leaving Colorado. I really did. But that first day, I was in the booth with Neil Sika and our producer, Melissa Kulinski. I was like, this is it. Like, this is where I should be. And I felt so comfortable with everyone. Brett Hilbrandt, our sideline reporter. I don't know, Jill, you probably got the same thing where it just felt like this is where I'm supposed to be. And so that really helped the process.
It does. Yeah.
Destiny. Yeah. Yeah. And it's that you have to have a lot of belief in yourself, taking that huge, I don't want to say it's a risk because you knew you were going to be successful, but it's scary to leave that behind. And so, huge amount of credit to you for just, following your heart, following your dreams, because you're doing such a wonderful job at Columbus, and we love seeing you. Jordan, I want to talk to you a little bit about your journey from sort of, athlete to broadcaster, and how you sort of came to terms with dealing with the injury that ultimately ended your playing career, but then sort of steered you in the direction that you now are at. I know Jill and I have talked to a lot of athletes who are either going through an injury or maybe they've had to retire because of an injury.
Luis Robles, our guest last week.
Yeah, exactly. And Kaylin Carr. It's just. It happens so frequently. And a lot of times players can struggle with that transition when being a professional athlete is no longer a part of your professional identity. And I know that that's something that's really close to your heart. You started the ACL Club to kind of help players deal with that process, that journey of going through that recovery. What was your journey like in that respect? How did you kind of come to terms with the end of your playing career, but then also looking forward to the start of this new career for you?
Yeah, that's a good question, because I do think it's loaded. There are, I mean, I could go to certain days in that process of that transition and say this was a really low day and I didn't see what the future held. And I didn't know, it's almost as if you work so hard for something and then it all gets taken away from you and you're like, okay, well, now what? I can do anything I want to do, really, but also you can do anything you want to do. And how do you start to find direction? And so I think for me, I actually just recently, I'm like a very faith-filled person. I believe in God, and I was at church and I heard someone say, our pastor said, it can define you or it can refine you. And I really feel like my journey refined me in a way that I had 3 ACLs, and like the first one was really traumatic. The second one I knew I could come back from, and the third one really broke me. And in that state of brokenness, I felt like, okay, I can let this define me, and I can be mad at everything that I could not have had, or the career that I'm not going to have. Or I can say, all right, I've been given this journey for a purpose, and I'm going to use everything I've learned, not only in my soccer career, but also in what I've learned in my ACL recovery from the mental and emotional side. And I'm going to use it to better myself and better other people. So I think that's really where the ACL Club launched from. And then also at the same time, this idea that I could use all this knowledge that was stored up in my brain. Like, you guys, you never got to see me play as a soccer player, but like, I'm surprised I wasn't like super fast. I was like I was the midfielder who just could pick apart the game, right? I was tactically aware. I was a cerebral player and relied more on my passing than like my speed in anything. So I felt like with that mindset.
So you were like Darlington Nagbe.
Oh, yes. I mean, I was Darlington Nagbe of women's soccer. No, not even close. Like, he's just too good to even compare anybody to. But that same, like, figure out a way to beat a team through passing and not like my physical abilities. And so I realized that I had all this knowledge stored up, and instead of saying everything was taken away from me, I could say, look at all I've learned, and then I can now kind of repurpose it into something where I can teach other people about it. So I think that's kind of where it all started. And it did start with high school soccer games, which is so funny, at least my broadcasting career. So you had mentioned earlier too, Suze, about risks. And I think we've all been there, right? And people listening have probably been there too. It's hard to take the jump sometimes, but I have just always been a person that I know that the risk is worth whatever you're going to do. Like, I'd rather be mad at my action than at my inaction. Through inaction, I just feel like you have way more regrets than you do when you actually do something and pursue something. So like anything in life, I just kind of went for it and did believe in myself and felt like there was going to be a path for all this knowledge that I had if I refined it and put it somewhere else.
Something that really sticks out to me when I first met you, Jordan, when we hosted a She Believes Cup at Red Bull Arena, U.S. women's national team playing, I can't remember, it was Japan, France, or England.
Yeah.
And we were standing on the concourse, like in between shoots, and we were like watching the game, and you were kind of explaining to me how the play was developing. And I was like, wow, like if I sat with Jordan for 5 matches, like I would be able to raise my soccer IQ. No, I really mean that. But don't sell yourself short with your own playing career. You had a professional career that spanned the Women's Professional Soccer League, the NWSL. You were the 2004 Gatorade Colorado High School Girls Soccer Player of the Year, a McDonald's All-American. So like we do have some royalty on our hands. So do not sell yourself short, sister. Another thing, obviously you work with the Columbus Crew. You also work with U.S. Soccer, whether it's in arena hosting, the podcast alongside Charlie Davies. You have such a rapport with this women's team. I noticed that when we were at Red Bull Arena. You went to Paris to cover the World Cup in 2019. You know them. Like, these are people you've gone up against. What can you kind of tell us about the U.S. women's national team that people don't know? Who are you closest with that is still playing, that would kind of like a humble brag?
Yeah.
A little name dropping. What can you tell us about them to kind of like get us excited?
Well, I think you mentioned that how I interact with them. Well, a lot of them were my teammates. You know, I'm not that far removed. That some of the ones who are on the maybe older side are players I played under 20 World Cups with, and I played in the professional leagues with. So I know these women. I've been with them in locker rooms where, you know, locker rooms for women's soccer teams are not much different than locker rooms for men's soccer teams, right? Like that's one of the things you miss the most, because it's just ridiculousness. Yeah. So I know them really well. And then I would say a couple of the people that I'm closest with is when I was still a professional, actually just starting my professional career, I'd come home every off season and train here in Colorado. And this little girl would come and train with us. And she was so good. She was 14 years old. We were professionals. And it was like she understood the game at a higher level. When I would go and watch her play, she would follow the ball around and connect passes. Like, it really lended itself to like some of these playmakers I've seen in men's soccer through the years. I was so impressed with her. And we just kept training together and becoming friends. And I helped her through some tough injuries, and she now is one of the best professionals in the world. It's Lindsay Horan. And yeah, and she, like, I got to see the growth of this not only player, but person, and everything she's gone through in her career. She is just like, grown in such beautiful ways and continued to pursue what she loves most, which is the game. So I'm close with Lindsay. She grew up down the road from me and have known her for a long time. So she's definitely one of my good friends, and someone that when we are on those trips, I try to go get coffee with, along with some of my teammates. Kelly O'Hara was my teammate, not only with the under 20 national team, but the Boston Breakers as well. And then Alyssa Nair is, one of the sweetest humans you will ever meet. And so I was getting kind of defensive before the World Cup last year when now it's 2 years ago, when everybody was like, will she be able to do it? Will she be able to do it? I'm like, I just felt like she was gonna. I went into the tournament, and she has a twin sister actually who was there the whole time, and I became really good. She played through college. Yeah.
Okay.
Her name's Amanda, and she
also a goalkeeper.
No, she was I want to say she was a center midfielder or a center back. No, she played on the field. But I told her at the beginning of the tournament, I was like so mad about this, as was she, right? Because this is her sister, her twin sister. And I was like, I just feel like Alyssa's going to have a moment and everyone's going to understand what and it happened. Like, it's crazy the way things orchestrated. You guys, the fact that I got to go to the World Cup and just like document
how did you orchestrate that?
Yeah, I really I pressed
a lot of emails.
Smart. Yeah, a lot of emails, a lot of like, are you sure you don't want to take me? Are you sure I couldn't be helpful? Yeah, and it ended up being just, such a cool experience. But during that game against England in the semifinal, I was sitting next to, there was kind of a few open seats next to her parents and her twin sister. And I was sitting down the row from them, and when the PK got called, and I looked over, and Amanda and I like caught eyes. And so my job was to document everything. So I pull my phone out. I'm like ready to go, making sure I have enough battery left to get this reaction. And I get her parents celebrating her saved PK. And I got to not only share that with her, but we got to share it with the world. And it was like, that was her moment. So just cool how this player, this person, Alyssa Nair, who has worked so hard, got to have her moment, and everybody got to see that. So she's a sweet, sweet human. I would say, in general, the U.S. Women's National Team is just full of a lot of really awesome, strong women who have opinions, and I think that they for the most part, are just really great to me. A lot of them good friends to me. And I'm just so thankful for our time on and off the field and what we've got to share together. And thank you for U.S. Soccer for bringing me to the World Cup.
And thanks for that.
Jordan, you are a part of a movement that we are seeing across soccer, I think, in North America, where women are in prominent roles, whether it is in team ownership, broadcasting, referees, scouting departments. We are seeing sort of the rise of the women in the beautiful game, which obviously I think we're all more than here for. But my question, it's one of these things where sometimes when we have these conversations, it's almost like, do we have to talk about this? Because we just want it to be the norm. We just want it to be.
But then we are talking about it.
Here we are talking about it. But I think it's part of it. I think in order to get to that place where it's just, something that is normal and expected, we have to have these conversations. But Jordan, I want to ask you how you think we go about making it the norm. How do we sort of continue this trajectory where women are incredibly respected and holding these high positions and are making decisions, and it's just something that we acknowledge, and it doesn't have to be a talking point anymore. It's just the norm.
Way to throw me a softball with that one. Easy question. So I'm going to try to knock it out of the park and do my best. I think personally, when I took this job in Columbus, I wanted, and I talked to Tim Miller, our director of broadcast and public relations, about just for me personally, I want a job because I'm the best candidate for the job. And I think that I will always celebrate the best candidate for the job getting the job. And I think that what we're seeing is an open-mindedness about who the best candidate could be. And it's a lot of people, and it doesn't matter your gender or your race or your religion. Not if you believe in something and you pursue it and you're good at it and you put your best foot forward and say, hey, here's what I could offer you, that you're going to have a shot. And I think that that's what we're seeing. And I think that MLS is, not that other leagues aren't giving women shots. I think that we have to be open that resumes and the person that's standing in front of you is going to look a lot different than maybe the next person. And you're not looking for a certain look. You're looking for who's going to fulfill this best. And I think for me personally, I'm just like, I don't feel like I'm overconfident in who I am, but I just like, I think I can bring a lot to an organization. And I led with that. And I led with confidence and saying, like, I love this game and I want to keep getting better. And I want to use this as an opportunity to continue my pursuit of that growth over time. And also, I worked really hard for it. So I think that we're going to start talking and leading with this question less and less when we just see that these opportunities continue to come up where people are just choosing the best candidate. And I think we're seeing that now because it's coming to fruition in who we see is chosen. So yeah, I'm so proud. You talk about those women that are in broadcasting and MLS, and you guys included. Like, there's women that are hosts and sideline reporters and voices within clubs that do such a good job. And I learn from, I listen to, and there's men I learn from and I listen to. And I love that. And I love that I can have conversations with all of them and feel like, we're in it together to make the best product in Major League Soccer and get more people into watching it and knowing how fun it is to support this league.
I'm happy to hear that the Columbus crew were receptive to feeling the passion and the sense of pride, Jordan, that I know that you bring to every project that you work on. So that makes props to the Columbus crew. I'm really happy to hear that. Before we let you go, the Columbus crew, they are very excited that their new stadium is coming, and so are we. Jordan, Angeli, what's it going to have? To give us all the info.
The stadium is ridiculous. with the Haslams and Dr. Pete Edwards on board and what they have invested into this club, specifically the Haslams have such a knowledge of what works in stadiums because they've been in the NFL for a long time. So there's a few unique features within the stadium that I think are going to be really nice. It's small, but they're really wide walkways underneath the terrace that I think it will the terrace. What did I say?
The terrace, yeah. You got it.
You're underneath the terrace that I think will just be nice to get people moving and give them a lot of space to go check out all the concessions. There's a restaurant that's there. I mentioned the beer garden on the east side of the stadium. I believe there is the most like swankiest club with a patio setting because they're like in Columbus, everybody likes to in the summers just like hang out outside and have like this patio barbecue. I don't know. I haven't yet
very Midwest.
That. Very Midwest.
Yeah. We've been, locked in for months because it's so cold. And the minute the weather turns like a little bit nice, it's like, let's go outside.
So that's it. So they created a patio that's like that on the east side to kind of appeal to that culture. And that, and also the seats are just like on top of the field. So
cool.
The feeling that I got when I toured the stadium, and this is when they didn't have anything, the roof is now complete and they're like doing all the other things inside. It's getting there. So it's going to have a really special atmosphere. I know that. Having the stadium downtown, it's right next to all the hockey arena, right? And the baseball field that's there. There's bars and restaurants within walking distance. From where I'm at near the Short North, I could walk to the stadium, which there's a ton of people that could just walk to the stadium.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, which is awesome. I'm just picturing Weeby like in his little, how he marches, that march to the field that he did with FC Cincinnati. I won't talk about that, but just like marching with everybody to the field. That's a really neat thing, but at the end of the day, I think that the brand of football and who that they've been, they're adding some really cool pieces. BWP, Kevin Molino,
Kevin Molino. Can we talk about him? He was ridiculous during the playoffs,
so
ridiculous. And it seemed like I feel like this was so like under the radar that Columbus just like kind of came in and grabbed him, and I was like, whoa. What just happened? Also, like BWP coming on, comeback player of the year, like Jordan. Like this is exciting. This is a very.
Are you guys going to be better?
Like I put your analyst hat on for us right now.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, and tell us why Columbus are poised to be like contenders for the foreseeable future.
And are they going to be better than 2020?
Yeah. So sorry, I got to take my crown off before I put my analyst hat on. That would have been
really.
So couple like funny story about Kevin Molino. When I heard that he was a free agent, I remember sitting in our broadcast booth with our sideline analyst, and I was like, did you hear Kevin Molino is a free agent after next year? And I was like, can you imagine? And we just started like spitballing what it would be if he was on our team. And now it's happening. And I feel like we started the train, and I'm just so proud of that. Caleb must have had like
honestly, he's
microphone. He was listening. Yeah.
Because he had everything bugged. I could kind of see that.
Yeah.
I mean, if he does, he's good at hiding it. So
I could see him running a very tight ship.
So that was with Kevin Molino. And then BWP, I talked to him last week actually about the move to Columbus. And he said, Caleb Porter's really convincing. He said, I went to the first meeting with Caleb and he had this whole presentation. I was inserted into the presentation as if I was already a member of the team. And he was like, I was sold. No one has ever done that to me before. And so it was just cool to hear him say that. But my imagination goes wild as an analyst talking about Celeron and Kevin Molino playing those like intricate interwoven passes and runs within the midfield and then getting it to the end line. And there you have BWP, who does one of like his side bike or whatever he did last year that just makes him feel like he doesn't age a bit. And he's just there like doing his jolly celebration dance
leprechaun
that he does. His
thing.
leprechaun dance. Yeah. So yeah, I'm very excited for what I anticipate to be a Columbus Crew squad who not just won 2020 MLS Cup, but now goes into this season where there's a lot more games, more competition with CONCACAF Champions League, and they have depth to be able to compete in a lot of those.
Days.
So are they better? Are they a better squad next year than they were last year?
Yes.
Okay.
Scary. I'm saying it right now.
Jordan,
they always make us do like predictions at the beginning of the season. I'm putting it on the record right now. I'm gonna pick Columbus to win it again. And they would be the first. When was it the Galaxy the last team to repeat, go back to back MLS Cups? I can't remember. My MLS history is.
There's only like 2 or 3 teams.
It's been a while.
Very hard to do, but I'm gonna say I agree with you. I think the Columbus Crew are even stronger than they were in 2020. So I'm putting it out
just
there.
say
I'm going to say
I'm here
beats
for
them in
that.
the Eastern Conference Championship.
Hey, we'll wait and see.
I still sit there with her Atlanta sweatshirt on.
Yeah,
this is a coincidence. I did not wear it to be shady to Columbus. I have a lot of love for Columbus.
Yeah.
Well, this was so much fun, Jordan, Angeli. We could just doesn't it just feel, I was so looking forward today because I was like, oh, it's just kind of like I'm hanging out with friends,
I know.
you know? Like, it
like
doesn't feel like work. It's just like
with water.
It's like, yeah, it does. If I was eating and had a mimosa, then
we used to drink during this. Maybe we'll bring it back for the kickoff of the season, which April 3rd, people.
Circle your calendars.
For more information on the season and key dates, go to mlssoccer.com.
Do we want to ask Jordan our fan questions since we have her?
Yes.
Yeah.
Real quick.
So we always ask our fans to send in questions. And we've got some, and we really think that I know these are fun though.
Okay. Do they send them an email or Twitter or what?
By Instagram. Yeah. I mean, they get you everywhere.
Okay, so Jordan, this is from Claire. Thank you, Claire, for tweeting us. She wants to know your most awkward fan interaction.
Rapid fire.
Fan interaction. Yeah. I have to go back so far because I haven't had that in a year.
Well, no, you also probably had fans as a player too, so this could span
Angeli fans.
Ooh, I can't think of anything awkward. I'm just like I tend not to make things awkward. I feel like
that's a very good skill.
Yeah, unless like someone keeps following me, then I'm like, okay, that's an awkward thing. But like when I worked for the Rapids, I didn't really have a time to have awkward interactions because honestly, I would call the game and at halftime I would run down the stairs to get to the field to host, and then I would run back up. So like if you're not stepping pace with me, like you're not talking to me at all.
Wow.
Your most starstruck moment.
Starstruck moment. I was traveling and I saw this guy outside with like a little one of those like newsy hats, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And he was standing outside. He was about to walk in past us. And I was like, nudged my sister. I was like, hey, it's Leonardo DiCaprio. And I was kidding. I was totally kidding. And he walks by and I'm like, it's actually Leonardo DiCaprio. And I couldn't do anything. Like I couldn't move. So that was the starstruck moment. But I don't know. I tend to be that weirdo that just says hi to people.
Who's your person?
Oh, David Beckham for sure.
Yeah, I can't.
I literally, Jordan, I had to interview him when Miami was announced as the team. This was like 3 years ago, and I don't remember what I said. Like I literally blacked out during
because she taped the call up that morning.
I was.
No, I'm kidding. No shit.
I was so like I was just like.
No, I wouldn't have been able.
Like, I don't remember what I said. And I watched it back and I'm like, I'm so glad that I at least came across as coherent because I literally blacked out.
Well, we had Amy Robbins, our DJ, had a David Beckham moment too. And Jill and I were so
story with Luis Robles last week of that she like had the guts to ask for a selfie. And I was sitting outside the bathroom in that same hallway at a U.S. Women's National Team game where Phil Neville was coaching England down on the field. David Beckham was watching from the suite. My guess is they were going to hang out, maybe get some steak after. Who knows? maybe have a drink or two.
Talk
But
about
he walked by to
upcoming
go down to
coaching
the
job.
field, I think, to talk to Phil Neville. And I was just like,
Oh, he walked by you too?
I didn't even
Yeah, I
see
didn't
anything.
get to see him. I was
cried
the only one that
thinking
didn't get to
about it.
see him. Yeah, I would have the same reactions as both of you. I don't know.
David, mine, but Jordan, Angeli, do you remember we ended up on David Beckham's Snapchat because
Yeah.
Spice Girls came on, and obviously we were just like jumping with delight to Spice Girls. And then we looked at David Beckham's Snapchat, and it was, just our finest moves ever that he was like snapping at Victoria.
Yep, I got a lot of calls after that. Just like, what's that? No, just kidding. I was like this big.
Claire, thank you for writing us in.
I know, Claire. Appreciated. Much appreciated. Jordan, love you, girl.
I love you guys.
Enjoy your time back in Colorado with the family.
I will.
And we are so excited to watch you do your thing with Columbus. Once again, keep up the fantastic work. We are your biggest cheerleaders, and we love you, girl.
Thank you guys so much. That was so much fun.
We can't wait to hear you and all the rest of the 27 Major League Soccer teams kick off their action Saturday, April 3rd.
April 3rd! Exciting times. Guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Mwah. We love you.